There are many people that absolutely love the Ark Royal. It is mostly those that have it. And there are many people that hate the Ark Royal, and it is probably mostly those that don't have it. I don't have it, and as you all know, I love playing my destroyers. And there's nothing more than I hate seeing in a battle than an Ark Royal, because my existence is not long. Mostly. But I can counter destroyers. But here we in the tier 5 premium German destroyer, the T-61. This is my build with Blue Furora, with Bay and Swirsky. Bay is there at 16.4, Swirsky at 16.3. Here we go. We've got, what have we got? We've got 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers, a load of battleships, and of course the aircraft carriers. And this match was from quite some time ago. I think it was from shortly after the Ark Royal came out, and it became the majority of a player's nemesis because it just seemed like it could do whatever it wanted in a game and be impervious to any kind of attack, because literally if you try to push in on one, you became the focus of attention and you were not long of this world and would often be heading back to port in a flaming wreck. In fact, the only thing that could put Ark Royal flames out was normally the sea as you sank into it. So we are going to play cautious in our T-61. We're going to do the destroyer's jobs of spotting, capturing and killing, but we're not going to go dashing in to the capture point because that isn't always the best approach. What we're going to do is try and get some early damage out on these guys that are pushing in. So here comes a Leander. Now I have got, I think, a cruiser and a battleship behind me, but the cruiser is going to make the mistake of sailing pretty much broadside to everything across the cap at an early stage of the game. There is a smoke screen out there. It isn't Icarus, I'll tell you that now. Sorry, I had to mute my mic there for a second because I was just about to cough very loudly down it. But yeah, it's an Icarus. We've got a Leander. There's a New York out there. There's another cruiser sat behind him, which I think is an Omaha, hanging out there at range and hoping that he doesn't get dev-struck with one salvo. But you'll notice that the cruiser is heading away from us, leaving myself and the battleship on this flank. But we do land a torpedo, which is nice to see. There we go. And now we've got the New York streaming in full steam ahead, bow into us, which isn't good for torpedoes. But there we go. It looks like that torpedo landed on the Leander. In fact, there was 2 torpedo hits there as well as 2 floods. So we're going to get some guns onto this Leander, I think. Now you'll notice that I have let the cap go to red, and that is because the force against me is overwhelming. The Leander has sonar. There are 2 battleships and there's also a destroyer. I've noticed that the majority of the team has headed for the other side of the map where they are being righteously focused by the Ark Royal, and looking at the map and seeing where his planes are coming from and going to, it is obvious where he is on the map. But our other destroyer is trying to chase the carrier down, and with an Ark Royal against a destroyer, that is never going to work, I'm sorry. But here we go, we're onto AP, we're angling out, we're going to allow those torpedoes to run, and we're going to try and get some citadels on this guy as we land another torpedo, but no flood. We're not going to burn our smoke just yet. We're going to keep his attention on us. We're going to angle away from him slightly. The torpedoes have missed, and I can't for the love of me do any decent damage with this AP, but thankfully there from the back of the map the Fuso does a full send for 50 hit points and gets rid of the Leander. So cheers for that, buddy, you really saved my skin. So now we have almost hit the edge of the map, and it's like, well, we need a cap, so we're going to have to turn around and get in there because we got 2 battleships pushing out. We know there is still a destroyer down here, and there is also another cruiser pushing in. And yeah, I think that cruiser is the Omaha, who was second guessing himself early match as to which direction he should actually go. But red team, They feel that they've opened a flank on this side and they are going to push. They know where the other destroyer is because I've been firing my guns and I've been spotted. I could have stayed undetected, I know. But I've got this Fuso behind me, and so we are going to start looking around, and there is the Icarus, and you're going to see one of my favourite things that destroyer players do here. So we take out his engine, he's going to damage control that one, we're going to roll our smoke, we're going to keep some fire on him because he's fired his guns, he is spotted by the battleship, we're going to put one salvo of torps out there, we can see his engine is out again, so it's going to take him a while to slow down. Now that he's in his smoke, we can move out of ours without being spotted, and I think we're going to turn around this island and head back in thinking, let's get some guns on him if he actually survives this. Otherwise we could close him down with this sonar in his smoke. It's only a short smoke, but there's no need to do that now because he was a dope in a smoke and he chewed on a torpedo and he is back to port as well. Now it's pretty much even Stevens at the moment as far as ships go, but red team do have a lead on points because they control an extra capture point. The Ark Royal is doing everything in his power to stop blue team from taking a capture point, and they just seem scared to be pushing in. Our carrier really should be looking for the Fubuki that's out there because he is the biggest risk for the team. But that Fubuki is going to run around unchallenged and doing things like that, torpedoing a Congo for a dev strike, while our carrier is trying to bomb something that's coming through the middle of the map. Guys, a quick tip. If you're in a carrier, always spot the destroyers first, unless I'm on the red team, and then feel free to do whatever you want because I don't mind if you don't come hunting me with bombs and torpedoes and spotting me and having your team shoot at me. No, honestly, just run around and do whatever you please. Just leave me alone and my destroyers. We're pushing back in. We've got torps running towards the New York. We've managed to sink an island there. We don't get any hit points for that one. But the New York is running in. We've got the Omaha coming in. I want to try and keep an island between me and the Omaha, but also be in a position to keep him spotted for the Fuso at the back, who should be able to one-shot him. But there we go. We get our second kill of the game. The Fubuki has just taken out our aircraft carrier, and perhaps that will teach him that early game he should be spotting these destroyers, and that way he is not going to have a destroyer flank him and get himself killed. He still has one set of planes in the air. The red team have got, what, 140, 150 point lead at this moment in time. But I'm going to try and do what I can to bring that lead back into our favour. Now the CV looks like he's running his last set of planes against the Omaha. Now if he doesn't hit it, then hopefully he should be able to force that Omaha into a turn. And although I'm trying to get shots across the top, I can't see exactly where he's going. So we just kind of blind firing here. He is going away from us. But again, there we go. Full send from the Fuso at the back. And I think that's his second kill as well. So 2 low health kills there. But it's guns off the map. And that is what counts here. So this stage of the game, we got 3 against 2. They still have the lead. And we still don't know where this Fubuki is. Somebody is pinging the map there. But the Ark Royal has, I think, decimated our team. And if there were any questions about it being overpowered, when you see an Ark Royal picking up a high caliber, a Confederate, a Kraken, and you know 150,000 plus damage in a tier 5 game, I think it's an indication that perhaps it is a little outclassed for its tier, or it is outclassing its tier. You could say that yes, good players are able to get the best out of it, but bad players aren't necessarily doing as well. But even a bad player in an Ark Royal can have a pretty solid game. Now that Fuso could really sort of push down with me, but it looks like he's pushing in to back up the cruiser. Given that there is a Fubuki running around with, what, 10k torpedoes, 9 torpedoes at a time, and probably a minute and a half reload on them, if that, it's probably not the most sensible thing to do. Fubuki has given his position away by moving on to A cap, and I'm just thinking, okay, if we are to have any chance of winning this game, we need the capture points, and this Ark Royal is going to have to disappear. So it's going to be a matter of kill or be killed, or kill and be killed, because I certainly do not expect to survive going up 1-on-1 against an Ark Royal, because its dive bombers are absolutely devastating. I could go hunting that Fubuki, but he's a long way off the map. We've got a cruiser and we've got a battleship there as well. Well, we did have a battleship, but he's just gone down to the Fubuki, so it is 2v2. We have the lead, but only just. Now, you could say, why don't you just sail away? Because you have the lead. Yes, I could. However, carrier planes are a lot faster than me, and all he has to do is get me spotted, and once he knows where I am, he can continue to chase me down and harass me, all the while his Fubuki is running around taking those capture points back, and we end up losing the game because I chose not to make the decision I'm about to. So I am spotted by his planes now. He knows I'm coming for him. I am going to put my torpedoes out there and try and overlap a couple of sets, because of the range he's at, the spread is too wide at range. So we're going to go one slightly to the front, one slightly to the rear, and we are going to pop our smoke. Now I think at this point in time, I may have been running Mosquito Brutes on Blue Ferrora, which gives a very reduced torpedo reload time, but at the same time it greatly reduces your torpedo damage. Now the Fubuki has turned one cap, he's moved away from the spotting plane, and I was on mic, and the only other guy in the game was German, but he understood and spoke English, and I'm saying, you know, I'm going to basically have to YOLO this guy and get rid of him. You're going to have to keep running, because if I manage to kill this guy, he still may have planes in the air. All you need to do is to survive and keep moving away from that Fubuki. So Ark Royal knows full well that he spotted that I'm in range, and he is going to get his planes up in the air. But this is about the only way that I know that an Ark Royal can be nerfed, and it involves a couple of salvos of torpedoes from a destroyer, and he's gone. But you see there, we get bombed, we get fired, engine knocked out, torpedo launchers knocked out, and now we are going to play twist and turn, because the only thing you can use to try and counter an Ark Royal is it has a large turning circle on its planes, so you've got to try and keep those turns going on, both one way and then the other. But I'm trying to find out which direction he's bringing his planes in. But there you go, look, double fire again, 20 seconds, so 2 drops, double fired twice. I don't have the hit points really to survive. Is the damage control going to come in on time? Yes, it is. But here we go, he's coming in again from the other side, the 3rd drop, and there you go, out of the game, from pretty much full health to 0 in one squadron of planes. There is no way on this earth, once he had those planes in the air, that I was going to survive that. But taking out the carrier gave us more points than they got in losing a destroyer for blue team. The cruiser is doing his best to avoid the Fubuki. There are, barely a minute left on the game, and I'm telling him, you can see where the Fubuki is. He's on that capture point. Do not go near it. Turn and head for the other capture point. That way, he's going to have to run after you. And if he does try to launch torpedoes from the rear, then you will see them coming a long time before they get to you and give you a much better opportunity at avoiding them. And that is exactly what this guy is going to do. Now, you did see that Ark Royal pick up a Confederate, which means he has hit at least 6 ships for 20% of their health. And then he took pretty much most of my health off me as well. So when we get to the end, I would like to say GG to Just 2K for doing the right thing and running in the opposite direction to the Fubuki and sealing the win for Blue Team. But I really don't think that game was winnable without that Ark Royal being taken care of. So I am looking forward to the patch notes on Thursday. There we go. A pretty solid game there with 3,136 base XP. The Fubuki tore a hole in Blue Team with 4 kills. Unlucky not to get a crack in there. But then the Ark Royal obviously picked up a Confederate and his flesh wound as well. So let's see what's in the patch notes, or let's see if Wargaming are going to give another 5 weeks of respite to Ark Royal captains before they bring down the Nerf hammer upon it. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Smash the like button, leave me a comment. Please do subscribe, and don't forget you can tip if you want to through the little icon at the bottom. Take care of yourselves. Goodbye.